to Floresville South Elementary students joining me at the podium tonight to lead us in the pledges. First, I have 5th grader Claire Emily Pullen. Claire is the daughter of John and Erica Pullen, and she also has 2 older brothers, John and Jake, and some of those family members are here supporting her tonight. Claire is one of our student council officers and is also involved in ACYP sports outside of school. Claire not only participates in sports, but she enjoys camping, hiking, skiing, and swimming. When Claire grows up, she would like to be an archaeologist. Next, I'd like to introduce another 5th grade student, Lucas Paul Jimenez. Lucas is the son of Denise Rocha and Jesse Jimenez and big brother to Brooke. Lucas is an all-A honor roll student and class spelling bee winner. He also represents his classmates as a representative on the student council. And outside of school, Lucas loves to play his guitar, sing, and go to rock and roll concerts. In fact, when he grows up, he wants to become a rock star himself, or even be a tour manager. So please join me in welcoming Claire and Lucas, who will now lead us in the pledges. Would everyone please stand? Place your hand over your heart.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Under the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Vision and core beliefs, our core goals. So we're going to start the night with Mrs. Pena reading the district's vision.
The vision statement is, preparing you for a prosperous life, character, knowledge, confidence. The district's mission is, Floresville ISD is committed to developing 21st century graduates who are lifelong learners that are purposeful, innovative, collaborative, and possess character traits that lead to success.
I have the 5 district goals. Each student will maximize their potential. Each student will be a lifelong learner prepared for their future. Each student will be a contributing member of a global society. FISD will strive to build a strong relationship with stakeholders. FISD will exercise fiscal responsibility.
Thank you. Okay, at this time we're going to recite the district's core beliefs and we'll go around, starting with Mr. Huth.
We believe that each individual is unique.
We believe character, values are the building blocks of a prosperous life.
We believe in a strong work ethic.
We believe mutual respect is a foundation for a safe and nurturing environment.
We believe that helping one another strengthens our community.
We believe education is a shared responsibility throughout the community.
We believe effective communication is vital to success.
We believe that lifelong learning cultivates personal growth.
We believe that everyone deserves access to a quality education.
We believe that in failure there is opportunity for growth.
Now we'll have the overview of good governance indicators and board member ethics. Each month we'll highlight one of our good governance indicators and code of ethics that we follow to promote the best interest of the district as a whole. This month for the code of ethics we'll highlight integrity of character. I will refuse to surrender judgment to any individual or group at the expense of the district as a whole. I will consistently uphold all applicable laws, rules, policies, and governance procedures. I will not disclose information that is confidential by law or that will needlessly harm the district if disclosed. And our good governance indicator for this month is the board monitors the strategic plan implementation and district success in a formal, scheduled manner. And you'll get to see some of that tonight as we report on our strategic plan. and Dr. Bays and School Board. I have the pleasure again of introducing our Students of the Month for December. Today I'm recognizing Megan Martinez. She is the 17-year-old daughter of Mybella Canales Martinez and the late Roberto Martinez. She is ranked number 5 in the senior class with a 4.0 GPA. Megan is the historian of the National Honor Society, secretary of the Student Council, a member of Leap Crew, a member of the Mighty Tiger Band, and participates in UIL academics. She led the social studies team to regionals last year and is captain of the team again this year. Megan is in all advanced classes, including honors and dual credit. She has been on the All-A Honor Roll all 4 years of high school and has received the Outstanding Award in Dual Credit U.S. History. She volunteers at Conley Memorial and has shadowed surgeons at Conley Memorial Hospital. Megan has been accepted to the University of Texas at Austin, where she plans to major in pre-med. Her top strengths are achiever, learner, activator, responsibility, and deliberative. Ladies and gentlemen, our female student of the month, Megan Martinez. The December male student of the month is Hector Machado. Hector is the 18-year-old son of Elva and Hector Machado Sr. And I'm sorry, I meant to say that Megan's mom is here and her brother, and Mrs. Machado is here and his sister. Hector's ranked number 2 with an overall 4.0 GPA. Hector has been very active in his high school years. He has participated in football, basketball, band, and track and field. He is a current member of the Mighty Tiger Band, serving as the historian, and he's also a member of the National Honor Society. He is in all advanced classes, including dual credit and on-ramps. Hector volunteers with his church youth group, participating in Teen Acts, and working as a leader with Vacation Bible School. He has been accepted to the University of the Incarnate Word, where he plans to major in biology with an emphasis on pharmaceutical practices. His top strengths are input, learner, achiever, restorative, and responsibility. Ladies and gentlemen, Hector Machado, the male student. We'll do all the pictures at the end. Anybody can sing? Then we have Mr. Jazombek. Which team did you want to present first? Public
I have both
relations?
of them come up?
Sure.
Well, then,
You can do whatever you want.
Okay, first of all, I want to thank y'all for allowing us to come here and recognize some of our students, Dr. Bays and Mr. Schroeder and Dr. Wade. Thank y'all all as well. Those of you who have been around for a little while or follow us, we have a very rich tradition here at Floresville High School and with our FFA leadership teams. Every year for the last 9, we've taken students to the state leadership contest, which is an extremely high accomplishment for these students. These girls here, along with one more that it wasn't able to be with us tonight, all traveled to Huntsville the first weekend in December for the state leadership contest, and they were able to carry on the great tradition that we have at Floresville FFA. We'll start with Abby Murphy, Anastasia Stanley, and Peyton Jazombek, and Michaela Gonzalez, who is suffering from a sports injury tonight. They are the FFA Public Relations teams. Our FFA Public Relations team is probably the one that has the most tradition at Floresville High School. We've won state 3 times, and we've been to the state contest 10 times in the last 15 years. This team placed 2nd in district, 1st in Area 7, and then was 10th in the state semifinals. We are one of the top 20 teams in the state out of 345 teams.
Wow.
So these 3, along with Michaela, we practice many Sunday afternoons. We practice really odd times because these kids are in other activities. We've got cheerleading, we've got band, we've got soccer, we've got a lot of other activities going on. So practice time is is very, very hard to get to. So, again, our public relations team, they are top 20 in the state out of 345. Our next team is our agricultural advocacy team. This is a relatively new team to the state of Texas. They didn't start this team until 2012. And we immediately jumped on the bandwagon to train in this team. We weren't successful until just a few years ago, but this is the 4th time out of the last 5 years for us to qualify this team for state as well. These girls actually were here in front of y'all last year as state champions. Texas FFA has a rule, once they win state, they have to participate on a different team. So these 4 individuals chose to do a different team, and we chose this team for them. I have Karina Lissy, Abby Sines, Haley Peterson, and Kelly Rutherford. They were 2nd in district, 2nd in area, 1st in state semifinals, and then narrowly missed winning state. We were 2nd at state. We were 2nd out of 245 teams. There's only 1 team in the state that's better than us. Just a little bit more practice, I guess, maybe. I thought our presentation was really solid. I knew we were just a little bit weak on questions, but the questions part, they can tell you, is a lot different moving from one team to the other. The questions part for this team is totally open, and it gave us some fits, and that's probably what got us. But one thing I said to administration is, if you look out here, we've got 2 girls that are seniors, Abby and Haley. The rest of them are underclassmen. They're sophomores and freshmen. So we've got a bright future for us. Us ag teachers are really looking forward to the future, to work with these kids and watch them grow and watch the skills that they're learning. Because it's not just about competing, it's about learning skills. It's about being able to stand in front of a crowd and speak. And several of them have said that they, especially Anna, Miss Stanley there, she told me repeatedly, this has helped me so much. So thank you again. These are 2 of our leadership teams that we have this fall.
So, on behalf of the board, I wanted to acknowledge all of you young ladies and then our student of the month, Hector and Megan. That's what you all have accomplished in this short amount of time is setting you up for great success as adults. So keep going in the direction you're going. Don't get sidetracked or distracted by all the fun things that you think you're missing out on. You will, that only gets you so far. But this, the road that you're on right now, it will take you far in life. And I would say, on behalf of the board, congratulations and thank you for your hard work. Thank you. Great.
Y'all are number 1 in our book.
You're vibing, not bad either.
Okay, so let's let y'all sit down and then we'll do community of character and then we'll ask everybody to come back and take pictures if that's okay. Coach Roars and Ms. Brooks.
Good evening, Madam President, school board members, and Dr. Bays. The athletic department in Floresville North Elementary are proud to recognize Trent Hodge with the Community of Character Award. Trent is a member of the varsity football team and participates in track and powerlifting. Mrs. Heather Brooks, principal of FNE, approached the athletic department about student-athlete involvement in their FNE's Tiger Tights program. Each class at FNE developed their own social contract as part of FISD social and emotional learning curriculum. Social contracts establish how teachers and students will treat one another and are created by students and staff so that everyone has a voice. Team jerseys are presented each week to students who have demonstrated a great job honoring their class's social contract. Trent was selected to be one of the first student athletes to present jerseys. Trent Hodge loves his teammates and his community. He volunteers just about every chance he gets and is always one of the first people to raise his hand when we need help. Trent's went above and beyond a simple request to give back to our future Tigers and Jaguars. He volunteered to go back each time to hand out jerseys because he truly loves those kids and understands the importance of giving back to his community. When Mrs. Brooks thanked Trent for presenting the jerseys, he emphatically replied, "No, thank you for letting me do this." He has since returned to the campus multiple times to present the award by going into classrooms and congratulating each of the students. He has even brought the mascot head along for students to try on. The program has continued to grow and now has transitioned to winter sports student athletes, but there's no doubt in my mind Trent would be the first in line to volunteer if he participated in basketball or soccer. In fact, Ms. Brooks did let me know that he is a filmer for the basketball team and that he has told her that he would be available to come back. So, Ms. Brooks.
While in F&E, Trent also visits his former teachers. One special morning during our Pink Out Friday, Trent visited Miss Bauer, his former Little Sprout sponsor and a breast cancer survivor. It was certainly a sight to see this large young man running to bear hug his teacher wearing a pink wig and tutu. He was also so moved by her strength that he wrote her name on his wrist tape that night during the football game and dedicated the win to her. He said, quote, "I played hard and took the win for you, Miss Bauer. I love you." When we talk about Floresville family, these are the relationships that we talk about. Trent rises extra early each Friday morning to make a special appearance for some of our littlest tigers and jaguars to make their day. And as one parent commented on our Tiger Tag Facebook page, "Trent, you are such a positive influence on our youngest kids. We are so proud of what you do. So thank you, Trent, for playing hard on and off the field, and we are honored to have you as part of our FISD family."
Trent, hold on just a second. Mr. Mute wants to say a few words to you.
I don't know if you guys have seen this guy play football. He's an animal. He's got a heart as big as a teddy bear, and I'm going to tell you that those little kids look up to that. And you guys are out there busting it, getting it done, making us proud in our community, and those kids are looking up to you, and it's very important. And I very much appreciate that. I know the whole board does, and everybody in here that's got any community character does. It's a very, very nice thing you're doing. You keep doing it, and you're going to move mountains, buddy.
Yes, you will. Thank you for what you do.
Congratulations.
Trent, I think you made some of us men teary.
We're going to stand right up there and have a picture.
Miss Bauer, why don't you come up here with us? Coach Wars and Miss Brooks.
All right, we are going to need to get a little closer together. All right, that's good. Y'all are good. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And one more. Thank you. Did you get a picture on?
And then how about our two FFAs? And Mr. Drudovek, yes.
All right, so let's do this. This is what I need. I need board members and big people to go between each girl. Okay? There we go. Good. And we might need us to spread out just a touch.
Sit us to touch. There we go. This should work.
No one hiding.
If you can't, okay, I'm gonna let Mama go first.
Oh, you want to?
Yeah.
Okay, y'all ready? Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
We could just sit next to each other, but we don't.
Yeah.
No, we do. We all share them. That's fine.
I'm like that, Mama. Yes. Okay.
Birthday, Mama.
Okay, my turn. 3, 2. 1, 2. Okay.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, and the pledge students from the north, south.
Smile like a rock star.
Ready? 1, 2.
Make sure your hair is good. Thank you. I'm going to.
Get out her shoes.
I stopped by the other day and you weren't there yet, so. Yeah, because they assigned beginning of second grade. I went there, I was like, what's up? She's not here.
Yeah, you got Weston, my grandson.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am, I'll send you a picture today. Thank you for acknowledging it.
You don't stay for the meeting?
We're going to do one more acknowledgement, a little bit out of order on the agenda, but that's okay. Mr. Schroller is going to acknowledge Mr. Freeman. Come on in, guys.
Come up. Mr. Freeman, if y'all would come up, please. I know there's a lot of people that know these two guys, both graduates of Floresville High School. I've known them for a long time, and they're men of character, and they're giving back to our community. What these two gentlemen have done is they have really helped us out for a long time now. We've updated our complexes, football field, volleyball court, basketball gym, and we feel our baseball complex is long overdue. And so tonight, I wanted to personally recognize them and bring it to your attention. Both of these folks had made an estimate, and it was a total projected hard cost for the Tiger baseball dugouts without donations would be approximately $75,000 to $80,000 to get new dugouts for our baseball field. But with these two, and it's attached for review, are generous donations and contributions from Mr. Brett Freeman with Design Corp here, and Mr. Bronson Fuller with B&S Contracting Services. Design Corp gave a generous donation of $30,153, where Mr. Fuller with B&S Contracting Services donated concrete, labor, equipment, and masonry materials, and his donation was valued at $13,000. $837. This brings the total combined donations from Mr. Freeman and Mr. Fuller to $43,990. And these generous contributions have cut the district commitment to $31,010. So I'm hoping we can make this possible with their generous contribution. Mr. Fuller? Thanks, sir.
Guys, thank you so much for your generous donations to the district. I mean, you are investing in our future of our kids, and we appreciate that. I know that you value our district and our children too. It shows in your actions, and thank you so much for that. We really appreciate it.
And I can say one of them was a baseball player than the other, and one was a better football player than the other. I don't know if y'all can tell.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys very much.
So that was the fun part of the evening. If anybody needs to leave, now is a good transition time. If you'd like to. Next on the agenda is going to be the public comment. Do we have any public comments? Thank you so much. Nice to meet you. Mr. Dunn, before you start, the board will hear comments from the audience only during the public comment portion of the meeting. The public comment portion of the meeting will be no more than 30 minutes total. Each speaker will be allowed a maximum of 5 minutes to address the board. Please respect the privacy of others and refrain from identifying students, employees, or other community members by name. Disruption of the meeting will not be tolerated at any time. Ms. Pitcher, will you keep time for us, please? Yes, I will. Thank you.
To start off, what you just read is no longer correct. House Bill number 2840 states regarding the right of a member of the public to address the governing body of a political subdivision at an open meeting of the body. Be it enacted by the legislation of the state of Texas, Section 1, Subchapter A, Chapter 551, Government Code, amended by adding the sections I'm about to read. 55.1007, this section applies only to a governmental body described in the sections 55.01, 3 through BL. Skip that, I'm sorry. A governmental body shall, not will, not may, think about, will, shall. The word is simple and easy, it's an English term. Shall allow each member of the public who desires to address the body regarding an item on the agenda for an open meeting of the body to address the body regarding the item at the meeting before or during. During is the key term there. There is no longer this 5 minutes beforehand. During the body's consideration of the item. It also goes on to state, and letter E, the governmental body may not prohibit public criticism of the governmental body, including criticism of an act, omission, policy, procedure, program, service. This subsection does not apply to the public criticism that is otherwise prohibited by law. And it's saying that. It's kind of amazing that these oaths you just read about being all true and loyal to the flag and wanting to do what's in the child's best interest, you still hide behind your skyward contract. You're still allowing a child, a 15-year-old disabled child in school. In fact, your school district hasn't even followed the Child Find Act to try to place him or evaluate him. Good job there. What I find more interesting here is a few months ago I put a Public Information Act in and asked for all land that the school and the board owned. What's really interesting is the land on page 2 of your agenda wasn't on that PIA. So I don't know who decided to falsify information to a PIA request, but clearly, and I have the PIA signed by a worker of the administrative staff, the public information officer, stating there's only 15 properties. And the only property on this list that coordinates with the property I have is out there on 181 and 775, the 10 acres. So it's kind of interesting that all these acres, all this land in Sutherland Springs and Floresville, all these houses and these properties came up to bid just over the last month that I, a member of the public, can't even get an honest, with integrity answer from any member of this board, nor the administration. It appears, because clearly y'all are selling the land, y'all got to choose on the land, so y'all just bought it. Y'all are doing y'all's best part to keep the stakeholders, which is these people, not you, the stakeholders, the parents, the students, the taxpayer. You're sitting on $1 million and you just had $30 donated for a dugout. You're sitting on $1 million in your bank gathering interest while you're asking these people to raise their taxes and pay for your TRE that you spent $15,000 on trying to lobby for in this public. Where's the integrity? Now there's 2 board members up here. I don't hold y'all responsible, ladies. Y'all haven't been here to even know what I'm talking about. Y'all weren't even part of the grievance hearing because this board decided to shut out the whole public to the grievance because they didn't want people to know that people were being forced to join a third-party website to enroll their students into school. A third-party website that will be giving back dividends to the school while these people's tax dollars continue to rise to pay for y'all's trips up to the weekend club at TASB, y'all's open bars, nightly affairs, which I don't have to take. Y'all can get those classes online, right here from this school or from the ESC. So y'all choose to spend a few more of the taxpayers' dollars. Y'all treat this like a holiday, like a vacation trip. And Miss Bays, you may sit there and smile, but with this piece of paper right here, and that PIA I got from Miss Kathy, it already shows that Mr. Schroller's integrity with his PIA and the fact that Mr. Muse Equipment's out there right now. No, I'm done. And I already read the House bill to you, which is legal and it went into effect September.
And do you understand that you signed up for public comments?
Yes, ma'am. And I can talk.
Testimony, there's a difference.
Public comments. I just made a comment. I didn't make testimony.
Well, there is a difference.
I just made a comment.
In public testimony and public comment.
That's why there are 2 binders over here.
Public comments. I made a public comment about public.
For one, not the other.
I signed up for public comments, and I made a comment to this public to let them know that you people are still keeping kids out of school. That's what I thought.
All right, next is Miss Jeanette Lane.
It was a misunderstanding, I'm sorry, we didn't mean to sign up.
I thought we were supposed to sign that we were there, so I told her to sign me out.
We just want to see what happens to the property we're trying to purchase, that's it.
Oh, okay, so no public comments. Thank you for being kind about it. So Miss Jeanette nor Miss Monica want to speak, right? I just want to make sure that I'm clear.
No, we're just waiting on
Okay.
property.
Okay. Then we'll move along. Okay, next on the agenda is the consent agenda. And I'll entertain a motion to have it approved. Minutes. Let's do it all as one. Yeah, we can do A through F.
I make a motion to approve A through F.
A through G. Okay, motion by Ms. Berlanga and seconded by Ms. Reed. All those in favor? Thank you. We'll do the donations. Okay. The donations, that's right. Next, we'll go to item number 9, consider approval of resolution to adopt an amendment to the District of Innovation with Ms. Spanish.
Good evening, Madam President, board members, and Dr. Bates. There is a House bill that permits Texas public school districts to become what's called a district of innovation and to obtain exemptions from certain provisions of the Texas Education Code. Floresville ISD became a district of innovation in 2016, and the exemptions begin in the 17-18 school year. The plan is in effect for 5 years throughout the 21-22 school year unless it's terminated or amended. The district is considering adopting an amendment to add an area of innovation to the plan. That area of innovation that we will be asking to add is an exemption from the preclusion from exiting the uniform coverage program established under the insurance code. This exemption will mean that the district will be able to seek out and then offer other health care options to our employees at a lower cost other than the TRS active care that we are currently locked into. By adopting the resolution, we are asking to start the process to amend the innovation plan. The next steps would be to post notice and hold a public meeting to discuss amending the DOI. Next, we would form a committee to discuss the public hearing and form a formal plan amendment. Then the plan would be posted, and we would hold another public meeting seeking input, and then the plan would be voted on by the committee. The results of that public meeting and the committee's recommendation would then be presented to the board at the January board meeting. Step 2 would actually involve requesting proposals from other healthcare insurance carriers. But this resolution is just to initiate the process to amend the DOI. So administration recommends the board approves the resolution to adopt and amend an amendment to the District of Innovation. I'm sorry, I didn't ask any. Y'all have any questions?
I would just like to let the board know, we're very excited about this opportunity. For those of you who have been on the board for years, I mean, as far back as when Dr. Vinson was here, we have tried to identify ways to exit TRS because of the deductibles and what our employees have to pay. And so what has happened is there is basically a loophole that has been identified. And so now districts, we believe that in the next legislative session, they will probably take action to prevent districts from doing this. But in the meanwhile, I talked to our attorneys yesterday. They have no concerns with us moving forward. And at this point, like Ms. Danner said, all we're asking is that the board pass the resolution for us to look into it further. And then we will be coming back to you most likely at the end of January to move forward if the district committee so chooses. And I will say we looked at preliminary numbers, and for an employee who employs themselves and a family, the savings is approximately $5,000 a year. It's a huge savings. So we're really excited about this opportunity.
I think our employees would be too, just to pursue the opportunity, just to have the option, and they can make the choice themselves.
Are there any other questions?
I have any more questions?
Once again, administration recommends the board approves the resolution to adopt an amendment to the District of Innovation Plan.
I move to accept administration's recommendation.
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you. A motion by Mrs. Pena, seconded by Mr. Orth. All those in favor? 6-0. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Danish, and thank you for coming. We'll go back up to number 5. Dr. Wade, the district improvement plan formative review.
Sorry for the light show. So, good evening, Madam President, Dr. Bays, and board. This evening, I will provide the monthly update of the status of the strategies of our district improvement plan. The update tonight is based on the September formative review, sorry, I can't read without, conducted by district and campus administrators. In October, you received an update on goals 1 and 3, and in November, I provided an update on goal 2. Tonight, I will present the update for goal 4, which is FISD will strive to build strong relationships with stakeholders, and goal 5, FISD will exercise fiscal responsibility. Performance Objective 1 for Goal 4 is to increase the retention rate to at or above the state average. We have accomplished 2 of these strategies, and some progress has been achieved on it, the last one. Budget cuts were planned for this year's budgets during the summer, resulting in additional funds to assist with the salary increase. The TASB salary study was conducted and completed and provided guidance as we made adjustments to our salary schedule. And finally, the addition of our paid pre-K has allowed some staff members to have the ease of having pre-K students, their pre-K students enrolled in the district. We have had additional efforts with this last strategy to support and retain staff since September, and I will be sharing those in future updates. Performance Objective 2 is to increase input opportunities from stakeholders. Some progress has been made on all 3 of these strategies. A calendar of scheduled surveys for the year has been created to guide the gathering of input. This summer, the district leadership team undertook a project to work on a home in the district and to provide some improvements to the Lodi basketball court. And this project was shared at convocation with our staff to model giving back to the community. Finally, a discipline committee has been created and will discuss dress code input at their next meeting, which they've just held. Performance Objective 3 is to create a cohesive district-wide plan for community involvement. There has been some progress as the district revamped our back-to-school bash and ice cream social, and the board was there with the fishing pond, I believe. Yes. Fishing poles. With opportunities for family interactions. Campuses have also had multiple opportunities for involvement, such as Grandparents' Day and Open House. Also, the second strategy here is to create a draft marketing plan, and that has been created and was being reviewed in September, so that strategy had considerable progress at that time. Performance Objective 4 is to ensure opportunities are available for ongoing professional development. There's been some progress for these 2 strategies as well. A beginning of year survey was done to gather input after our convocation schedule, and we reviewed that data to make adjustments for the future. In addition, this year, staff had the option of a training day in January for professional development where they received training during the summer or on their own time, and are trading that to have one more day of winter break. Dr. Bays has also been leading our district leadership team in a book study on the culture code, and campus administrative teams meet weekly to develop their skills. Performance Objective 1 for Goal 5 is to create a cohesive plan to ensure fiscal responsibilities. Some progress has been accomplished on these 2 strategies, as the facilities study is being planned, and we are currently accepting nominations, or have accepted at this point, for the Growth and Planning Committee. This concludes the September District Improvement Plan, or DIP, formative review. In January, I will begin the next cycle of updates based on the December formative review that we just completed. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have.
Can you be a little more enthusiastic?
I can try, but my cartwheel turning days are over.
Thank you.
All right. Sorry, I know that the Tigger just bounced out.
Ms. Engel, we're going to item number 6. Discuss and approve or deny collectively or individually any of the following 7 private offers received to purchase trustee property.
Madam President, Dr. Bays, board members, I have Jeff Garcia here with me tonight from Linebarger, our tax attorneys, to discuss the trustee property that we're considering still.
Good evening, Madam President, board members.
Good to see you.
And Dr. Bays and staff. Good evening. My name is Jeff Garcia. I'm the partner in charge for the Linebarger Law Firm for Floresville ISD, and I am your property tax collection attorney. What you have before you tonight is 7 properties. I guess let me rewind and say how these 7 properties got here to begin with. So, as you know, in Wilson County, there's roughly 36,000 parcel ID properties that generate revenue for all of the taxing entities in Wilson County. Of course, Floresville ISD has a lot less of those parcels, but on average, every taxing entity through your Wilson County tax office will collect about 95% of their taxes every year. The remaining portion that reaches up to 100% gets turned over to our law firm, typically in July, so that it can be collected, okay, and try to get you to as close as possible to 100% collections, okay? We work with taxpayers. Anybody who's behind on their taxes, we try to do the required payment agreements that the tax code requires us to do. We do hundreds, thousands of phone calls every week to get those taxes collected. But of course, there are some properties when the owners have passed on, they may be abandoned, that unfortunately we have to do our job and move those properties into litigation. Okay, we keep the tool of litigation as always as the last resort. So when we move a property into litigation, of course, it may take its time to get all the property owners notified of that lawsuit, go to court, and then get a judgment on that property. Once we get a judgment on that property, that judgment gives us the authority to be able to sell that property to pay off the delinquent taxes that are due on that property, to get the school, county, city, if they're applied, paid for the taxes. Again, throughout this whole process, even all the way up to the day of tax sale, we're always trying to reach out to the property owners and try to get those taxes paid and set up payment agreements. But sometimes we get to tax sales and the taxes are still not paid. And so all the tax sales, we have to conduct public tax sales. Here in Wilson County, we conduct them. By law across the state, they have to be on the first Tuesday of every month. Here in Wilson County, we publish the tax sale notices in the Wilson County News. And by law, the first tax sale, we have to publish those tax sale notices 3 weeks prior to every tax sale. So we put those properties up for sale. And for the most part, if a property is lucrative or may have high value, the property will be sold at the tax sale for what is due in taxes or the appraised value, whichever is less. However, there are some properties that do not garner any bids at a tax sale. Those properties get struck off to the taxing entities, the county, the city, and the school, as trustees. Now, what does it mean to be trustee property? Well, it means that every taxing entity that's involved in that property is a little bitty share owner of that property in accordance to how much taxes is due on that property. And so throughout the year, we try to sell these properties over and over. We continue to have public sales of those properties. And every property is always listed on our public webpage, lgbs.com/ the tax sales. And we're always trying to get these properties sold to get the money to the taxing entities that's due. However, there's sometimes that we cannot get those full amount that's due to the taxing entities. And that's what occurred here on November 5th. I had another tax sale, resale of these properties. And after trying to get the full amount that was due to all the entities and having no more bids that were bidded on these properties, I had to start taking bids from the floor. In other words, starting from zero. And so that's what I did. I had one of the county commissioners also go and observe that tax sale, public tax sale. And so these properties that you have before you went to that resale, and after garnering votes, not votes, but garnering bids on those properties, we were able to generate what you have before you. Now, I will tell you that typically what we require for properties, a general rule that I take to the county commissioners and all my entities is we typically try to get all the costs paid first, right? That's what we're required to do. We try to get bids where all the costs that are due on that property get paid. There's court costs, there's sheriff's fees. Every time that I put up a property for sale, on average, it costs about $300 just to publish it in the newspaper for each time that we put it in the newspaper per property. And so all those costs, typically we try to get those paid if we're going to take less than what is due to you in your taxes and what's in your judgment. But in the 7 that are before you tonight, 5 of those properties don't even garner the total amount of cost. And so when I went to County Commissioner's Court during this past month, I explained to them, the guys, normally I bring to you some bids where we at least get the cost. But we have 4 here that we don't even have that. And then the final remaining 3, you do get some costs, all the costs paid, plus some additional taxes. So in total, what we're looking at on the 7 properties, in costs and taxes that were due on those 7 properties, it totaled roughly $248,000, okay? If the district were to accept these 7 tonight. And again, because the county's involved, the school, and on 2 of these, or excuse me, 3 of these, the city's involved, it takes all of the entities to approve to be able to get these properties into these new owners. The county has already approved of all of these bids previously. So all of the bids and post-judgment taxes and costs that we're trying to collect here, through these bids, it would be a little over $43,000. So what that amounts to is roughly 18 cents on the dollar that's before you, okay? In the past, you have typically approved anywhere between 20 and 25 cents on the dollar on other trustee bids that were brought before you. So with that said, after talking extensively with the county commissioners and explaining to them, their overall concern was if we do not accept these bids, we will continue to sit there and not generate any revenue as they have been in the past on these properties and incur more and more cost. And so while they would like to have seen more money come before these bids, they did understand that if we continue to sit there on these properties, the weeds, everything's gonna get overgrown on these properties, and if we don't get new owners on these properties to pay new taxes, there's never gonna be any movement on that. So with that in mind, they went ahead and accepted these bids, and to the overall goal is, let's try to get some new owners in there who are gonna pay taxes and bring these properties up to keep. So with that said, if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer those.
On the ones that do have city taxes, has the city approved
No,
sale yet?
no. So what I do is I go to the county first because the county's involved in all of them. And I go to the school because the school, obviously, out of all the entities on any tax bill, it's always having the most amount of taxes is due. And then at the very end, I go to the city because typically the city, sometimes they would like to purchase some of these, at which point I can tell them, look, we've already done all the work. Let's go ahead and just move them on. But I always leave the city towards the end. And they have not approved it.
Have they all been on the roll for multiple years?
Yes.
So in the long run, it costs us more than just having on the books.
It does. And so right now, there's about 20 trustee properties. And the way they're listed on the tax rolls is as Wilson County trustee. And the reason for that is because if you take a look at all of the entities that are involved, the county, for the most part, carries the least amount of liability. So that's the reason why they're struck off to Wilson County as trustee. And so, but again, the school is not the full 100% owner, right? You are only a portion owner of that property and according to the proportional amount of how much taxes you're due. So, yeah, there's about 20 out there, and to move these forward, we get those that number down.
Does it count the 7 that we have here, or in that 20, or is
Yes.
it 20 additional?
No, these 7 are in that 20.
That was my question. We do not fully own this property.
Correct.
Just a little clarification.
Correct.
The last thing. Thank you.
I understand.
You guys have any other questions?
If there are any questions, the administration recommends that we approve the private sale of these 7 properties.
Madam President, I move to accept administration's recommendation.
I'll second.
Motion by Mrs. Pena, seconded by Mr. Neef. All those in favor? 6-0. Thank you, Jeff.
Have a Merry Christmas.
Thank
and
you.
God bless you for your volunteer service. Everybody appreciates in the community.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you. You have some handsome boys.
So I told the boys, I go, hey, you're also representing your dad, but more importantly, you're representing your principal who's here tonight.
Now it's time for ice cream.
Yeah.
God didn't know they were back there.
They've been quiet as a mouse.
Daddy, I hope you're going to get him something good.
Well, I told them they get to open 1 present, so.
Negotiation.
board meeting for May 18, 2020.
Yes, Madam President, Board. So I was approached by Ms. Stanish, who works with the committee of staff members who plans the Employee Appreciation Banquet. And they are respectfully asking, I spoke to Ms. Smith, she did not see any conflicts, but to move the Employee Appreciation Banquet, they would like to move it to May 21st, which was when we had a board meeting scheduled. And so if there are no objections, I'd like to ask the board to move the May 21st meeting to May 8th.
Which is a Monday.
Yes.
I so move.
Any questions? Okay. Ms. Reed made the first.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. News. All those in favor? 6-0, thank you. Item number 8, consider and take possible action to authorize the sale of the property described below, authorizing the superintendent to post notice of the district's intent to sell such property in accordance with 272.001A of the Texas Local Government Code, to receive open sealed proposals and to present said proposals to the Board of Trustees for acceptance or rejection. Mr. Schroeder.
Good evening, Superintendent of Schools, Madam President, Board of Trustees. If you happen to drive down Business Loop 181, that lot is a little cleaner today. It did get shredded. So we're happy to say that. But what I wanted to talk about is there's approximately 10.4 acres located on US Highway 181 North. And we haven't been utilizing that acreage of property behind Richardson Brothers. This land is out of the S&J Arocha grant, nor do we foresee utilizing it in any way in the future. And therefore, I'm here to ask the board to authorize the resolution for the sale of real property. I have attached copies of the resolution, notice of sale of real property, and the final bid packet. The minimum bid price will be $300,000, and sealed bids will be received from December 19th until February 10th, 2020 at 1 p.m. You know, and I'm hoping with y'all's approval, we'll have a sale sign up tomorrow. Does the Board of Trustees have any questions?
How long will the sign be posted during this time? Is there a deadline on bids?
Yes, deadline on bids, that is correct. It is, I'm glad you asked that, February 10th at 1 p.m. We'll receive sealed bids until February 10th at 1 p.m.
Mike,
Ma'am.
was this set up for, what was originally set up? What were they gonna put on that?
You know, I really don't know what the plan, I was thinking
I think
on
originally, Ms.
transportation.
Reed, it was, that was a piece of property that at one point the district owned from Business 181 across to 181.
Okay.
And then the district traded the property from the old Richardsons, and so that's why we now own the, what used to be old Richardsons now is our maintenance.
Right.
And we traded, and also there was some money exchanged too, for that piece of property.
Oh, okay.
And so Richardson's just wanted the amount that they have. So I don't know the original acreage, but after that transaction, the district was left with 10.4 acres.
Okay.
You know, I don't think we can access it from Highway 191. And it's got, you know, it's somewhat of it's almost flood prone to an extent. And then, you know, Dodge Price is going up right there
Right.
too. And a lot of sand, and underneath that there is some clay, and it just gets stuck there pretty easy too. Any other questions I hopefully can answer for you if I know?
Don't publish that information, nobody will want to buy it.
I won't. Thanks, Roy. We did shred with a heavy tractor today. Any further questions? With that said, administration recommends the board adopt the resolution approving the sale of approximately 10.4 acres located at 1535 US Highway 181 North Floresville, Texas, and authorize the superintendent to post notice of the district's intent to sell such property in accordance with section 272.001A of the Texas Local Government Code, to receive and open sealed proposals and to present said proposals to the Board of Trustees for acceptance or rejection.
I'll move to accept administration's recommendation.
I'll second.
Motion by myself and seconded by Mr. Orth. All those in favor? Thank you.
Thank you, Board.
Thank you, Mr. Schroeder. Okay, item 10, consider approval of appointment of James Rutherford to Wilson County Appraisal District 2020 to 2021 Board of Directors. Dr. Bates.
Okay, so pursuant to resolutions passed around this time, the tax code became effective. Members of the Board of Directors of the Central Appraisal District of Wilson County are appointed by Wilson County and by the joint vote of the major cities and school districts. So the county appoints one director, and then each paired city and school appoints one director. And so the chairman, Robert Gregory, reached out and said that they were requesting for Floresville ISD to go ahead and appoint someone. So I made you all aware of that a few weeks ago. And the only nomination that I received at this point is for James Rutherford. And so Mr. Rutherford is a resident, of course, of the district. He has children in the district. He was actually here tonight. And he's been very involved in a variety of committees in the last couple of years, so he is definitely interested in serving. And so I would like to ask you tonight to appoint him to represent the district on the Wilson County Appraisal District.
Any questions?
Madam President, I move to accept the administration's recommendation.
I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Pena, seconded by Mr. Muth. All those in favor? Thank you. And then Dr. Wade, consider acceptance of the Victims of Criminal Acts, the VOCA Sutherland Springs Coordinated Response Grant.
Good evening again. Tonight I will present information on Victims of Criminal Acts with the grant that the district has been awarded. On November the 5th, 2017, our community experienced a tragedy that occurred in Sutherland Springs. We continue to grieve the losses that were experienced that day. To respond to the impact on our students, staff, and community, the district applied and received a Victims of Criminal Acts grant in January of 2018. Although the grant had a cash and in-kind match, these fund requirements were waived due to the emergency nature of the tragedy and the support that was needed. The district spent $451,861 of the awarded funds. Although the district submitted an application for another 2-year grant in April of 2019, we had a lapse in the notification and funding from the governor's office. And at the end of November of this year, we did receive notification that we had been awarded a continuation of the grant in the amount of $514,993 with $128,748 cash match for the period of October 2019 through September 2021. The services provided through the grant the past 2 years have included trauma training for our staff, as well as grief counseling for our Floresville staff, counselors and staff. Individuals, including students, staff, and community, have also received licensed professional counseling support through coordinated efforts with other agencies. The grant has a title of Sutherland Springs Coordinated Response, because we have collaborated with those area agencies such as Camino Real and the Children's Bereavement Center. I will note the little asterisk on the second line where there's a 0 for that second year of the grant from this past year. that the district began to refer individuals who needed that licensed counseling to those agencies directly, so there was no data to work with. In addition, our grant-funded counselors have provided counseling and casework support to those affected, and that data is different as well. For the 1921 grant period, the funds will allow for a grant coordinator and also serving as an at-large counselor, 3 grant counselors, training and supplies for those staff, as well as curriculum used to support our students. Activities planned will allow our counselors to be available to continue to support our students and staff who were directly and indirectly affected by the tragedy, in order to allow them to process emotional experiences, assist them with healing, and improve their coping skills to again feel safe and successful in their school, community, and relationships. The counselors will administer assessment instruments through a new tool that we have identified to survey community, students, and staff to help us identify the areas of specific need of support. They will provide guidance lessons, individual and group counseling, curriculum activities, and administer a symptom screener to identify if administered treatments are reducing the symptoms of trauma. I'll be happy to entertain any questions. You also have detail about the grant submission in your packet.
It's a great thing. Still a need in our community because of what happened. Any questions?
Questions? Administration recommends the board approve the acceptance of the Victim of Criminal Act Soda Springs Coordinated Response Grant for 2019-2020.
Madam President, I move to accept the administration's recommendation.